Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Emil Ennis Jr. back here with Clever News. And after months of celebrities urging us to vote, Election Day has finally arrived in America. So the day to cast our vote for the future of America has officially come, but as celebs continue speaking out on matters they feel most passionate about, some opinions have since been met with so much criticism, resulting in a complete loss of their most loyal fans. So over the past few months, celebrities have been taking advantage of their platforms with the potential to reach millions by actively urging fans to vote, but they've also been speaking out on important issues based on differing political policies. However, when doing so, they opened the floor to a wave of discussion, backlash, and criticism from people who either agree or completely disapprove of the message being relayed. Many have even lost loyal fans and followers in the process, so the question remains, what is one willing to potentially compromise in order to voice what they feel is important for the world to hear? Demi Lovato made her stance very clear when releasing an entire song directed toward President Trump called Commander-in-Chief. The song made headlines for Demi's powerful and emotional lyrics singing, quote, "But you can't get enough of shutting down systems for personal gain, fighting fires with flyers, and praying for rain. Do you get off on pain? We're not pawns in your game." Although she earned massive amounts of praise, Demi was also harshly criticized for attacking Trump and angering Republicans who support him, some of which even threatened they would no longer listen to her music and were ashamed. Demi shared one response of a user who wrote, "I hope you realize this makes people who don't have the same political views feel like they can't listen to you anymore. I'm personally ashamed to be a Lovatic right now, but no matter how hard it is, I'm not letting this song change my feelings about you, especially after everything you have helped me with." Demi responded by saying, "You do understand as a celebrity, I have a right to political views as well. The difference between me and the type of artist you want and expect me to be. But I'm sorry, honey, that will never be me. I literally don't care if this ruins my career." Demi went on to explain that she simply made a piece of art that stands for something she believes in, and while she understood the risk that it came with, she'd, quote, "take integrity in my work over sales any day." Taylor Swift only recently made her political stance known, as she's proudly endorsed many liberal candidates over the past few years. She used to be notably hush-hush about her views, which angered many Democrats, and allowed for people to begin projecting views onto her, but just before the 2018 Senate race in Tennessee, Taylor began sharing petitions in support of LGBTQ+ rights. She even called on the White House during her VMA speech, telling fans, quote, "You voting for this video means that you want a world where we're all treated equally under the law, regardless of who we love, regardless of how we identify." Her consistency and efforts in shedding light on political agendas angered many Republicans and even caused President Trump to state that he liked her music about 25% less now, following her endorsement of the Democratic Senate candidate Phil Bredesen in Tennessee over Republican candidate Marsha Blackburn. Former fans have chimed in writing things like, "Mixing your politics with your music can only accomplish one thing, a reduced revenue. I saw you on Riverfront with curls and cowboy boots and have followed you ever since. Now I press skip every time Spotify attempts to insert a song of yours in the playlist." And another person said, "I really thought you were a very smart lady, but this has turned my thoughts around full circle. I don't understand how anyone that had a brain would consider doing this. Sorry for your misjudgment on this very important matter." Something tells me Taylor really couldn't care less and is likely still going to sleep with a massive smile on her political palate. Vince Vaughn, on the other hand, was chastised by many fans after a video of him conversing with Donald and Melania Trump at the 2020 College Football Playoff Championship in New Orleans, and even shaking his hand. The video went viral, which caused an eruption on social media, with thousands claiming they'll never watch a movie of his again, while another user wrote, "That tells me all I need to know about Vince Vaughn." Although Vince has previously described himself as a libertarian, fans have been angered over his views in supporting Republican candidate Ron Paul back in the 2008 and 2012 elections, and he was also previously outspoken on his stance on gun violence during an interview with British GQ in 2015, claiming he was against gun-free school zones and banning guns in general. So naturally, shaking President Trump's hand came as a continued slap in the face to many Americans. Chris Pratt has been making headlines after actress Ellen Page outed him in supporting a church known to be famously anti-LGBTQ, to which he responded by sharing to his Instagram stories, quote, "It has recently been suggested that I belong to a church which hates a certain group of people and is infamously anti-LGBTQ. Nothing could be further from the truth. I go to a church that opens their doors to absolutely everyone." Chris also began to lose followers after many noticed that he neglected to take part in the Avengers virtual hang held last month, where fans received access to a Q&A if they made a monetary contribution to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's campaign. Avengers stars including Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Zoe Saldana, Paul Rudd, and Don Cheadle participated in the event, but many were quick to point out that Chris Pratt was noticeably absent. This caused fans to search for any evidence they could to prove that Chris was a Trump supporter, and based on some of the accounts, he allegedly has been following infamous conservatives Ben Shapiro and Dan Crenshaw on social media for a while now. Although it has been reported that Chris's wife, Katherine Schwarzenegger, is a Biden supporter, Chris has been noticeably silent on the matter, which hasn't seemed to bode well for fans. And finally, Mark Wahlberg's stance on political views involving celebrities and using their platform to support a given party has landed him in boiling hot water over the years. Back around the time of the 2016 presidential election, when hundreds of celebs endorsed Hillary Clinton, Mark was asked why he didn't get involved in or openly endorse a given party, to which he told Task and Purpose magazine he felt that, quote, a lot of celebrities did, do, and shouldn't give their political opinions. He attempted to back his claim by saying, people aren't listening when celebrities get political, adding, quote, they might buy your CD or watch your movie, but you don't put food on their table. You don't pay their bills. A lot of Hollywood is living in a bubble. They're pretty out of touch with the common person, the everyday guy out there providing for their family. Mark also argued that he feels more aware of the issues other Americans are facing because he exists in the real world. He said, although I can navigate Hollywood and I love the business and the opportunities it's afforded me, I also understand what it's like not to have all that. This sparked mixed reactions from many, with major criticism as fans chimed in by saying things like, quote, they should be allowed to voice an opinion if they want to, just like we all can, even if you agree with them or not. It's called freedom of speech and democracy. Another person said, just because you're not involved or aware of what's going on doesn't mean everyone is. A lot of actors care and pay attention. But Mark continues to keep his political views private, and it seems his stance isn't likely to change anytime soon. But to see which other celebs have spoken out, click right over here for another clever video, and then let me know your thoughts on all of this down in the comment section below. I'm your host, Emil Ennis Jr. You can find me on Instagram at Emil Ennis Jr., and I'll see you soon right back here on Clever News. Bye, guys.